the goatskin lad with a poor widow woman lived down near the iron forge, by Indiscorth, and she was so poor she had no clothes to put on her son, so she used to fix him in the ash hole, near the fire, and pile the war matches about him, and according as he grew up, she sunk the pit deeper. At last, by hook or by crook, she got a goatskin, and fastened it round his waist, and he felt quite grand, and took a walk down the street. So says she to him next morning, "Tom, you thief, you never done any good yet, and you 6 foot high, and past 19 semicolon take that rope and bring me a faggot from the wood." "Never say it twice, mother," says Tom. "Here goes." When he had it gathered and tied, was to come up but a big giant, 9 foot high, and made a lick of a club at him. Well become Tom, he jumped a one side, and picked up a rampike, and the first crack he gave the big fellow, he made him kiss the clod. "If you have e'er a prayer," says Tom, "now's the time to say it, before I make fragments of you." "I have no prayers," says the giant, "but if you spare my life I'll give you that club, and as long as you keep from sin, you'll win every battle you ever fight with it." Tom made no bones about letting him off, and as soon as he got the club in his hands, he sat down on the breastna, and gave it a tap with the kippeen, and says, "Faggot, I had great trouble gathering you, and run the risk of my life for you. The least you can do is to carry me home." And sure enough, the widow the word was all it wanted. It went off through the wood, groaning and crackling, till it came to the widow's door. Well, when the 6 were all burned, Tom was sent off again to pick more, and this time he had to fight with a giant that had 2 heads on him. Tom had a little more trouble with him, that's all, and the prayers he said, was to give Tom a fife, that nobody could help dancing when he was playing it. But worries, he made the big faggot dance home, with himself sitting on it. The next giant was a beautiful boy with 3 heads on him. He had neither prayers nor catechism no more nor the others, and so he gave Tom a bottle of green ointment, that wouldn't let you be burned, nor scalded, nor wounded. "And now," says he, "there's no more of us. You may come and gather 6 here till little lunacy day and harvest, without giant or fairy man to disturb you." Well, now, Tom was prouder nor tin paycocks, and used to take a walk down street in the heel of the evening, but some o' the little boys had no more manners than if they were dublin jackins, and put out their tongues at Tom's club and Tom's goatskin. He didn't like it at all, and it would be mean to give one of them a clout. At last, what should come through the town but a kind of a bellman, only it's a big bugle he had, and a huntsman's cap on his head, and a kind of a painted shirt. So this, he wasn't a bellman, and I don't know what to call him, bugle man, maybe, proclaimed that the King of Dublin's daughter was so melancholy that she didn't give a laugh for 7 years, and that her father would grant her in marriage to whoever could make her laugh 3 times. "That's the very thing for me to try," says Tom, and so, without burning any more daylight, he kissed his mother, curled his club at the little boys, and off he set along the gallant highroad to the town of Dublin. At last Tom came to one of the city gates, and the guards laughed and cursed at him instead of letting him in. Tom stood it off for a little time, but at last one of them, out of fun, as he said, drove his bayonet half an inch or so into his side. Tom done nothing but take the fellow by the scruff of the neck and the waistband of his corduroys, and fling him into the canal. Some run to pull the fellow out, and others to let manners into the Vulgarian with their swords and daggers, but the tap from his club sent him headlong into the motor down on the stones, and they were soon begging him to stay his hands. So at last one of them was glad enough to show Tom the way to the palace yard, and there was the king, and the queen, and the princess, in a gallery, looking at all sorts of wrestling, and sword play, and long dances, and mumming, all to please the princess, but not a smile came